Hi guys, we have here an unbreakable body for Arrma Infraction, and this under there is not an Arrma Infraction. It's also not, no fear, don't jump out from the window, it's not a Traxxas X01. I don't like the X01. It's cool to drive, it's really, you can really set up the car to go on a track, but it's still a stretch at 1/10 skills. That means small bearings, small tools, small stuff, and you really not like to be drive long. So Arrma made us awesome cars with the Infraction Limitless, with the new Felony and the new special series from the Infraction. That's why also I have this body here. The new Infraction series has a rear handbrake. Is this useful? Absolutely not, because the Infraction Limitless are cars who are sleepy from the rear anywhere. So all you have to do is go back from the throttle, make a hard turn, hit the throttle, and the car will drift immediately. You don't need a handbrake. What you need is to kick out the AVT from Spectrum if you want to drift. That's all you have to do. So I understand, it's funny, it's a new thing, so they're gonna sell from this special series. It's clear, I understand fully if you have buy one because you want to test this, but it's not useful. But makes fun, so it's useful, sorry. Then Felony has, because of the vibration of the long rear dog bone by Arrma, two bearings along from this. That's wrong. I'm car mechanic, guys, since 25 or 30 years now, and I can tell you with my experience that that's gonna end bad for the bearings, because the center shaft is steel, the bearing housing are not so hard steel, and also it's thin steel. That means with the vibration the center dog bone will vibrate on the bearings and destroy the bearings, and you will have a spur in the CVD, the rear dog bone will have the proof that the bearing was there. The bearing will be destroyed. It will function at the beginning, but not long. That's a fact. The better way to do it is extruded shaft, like Traxxas does here. I know many from you don't like Traxxas, but it's a fact that extruded shaft are cool because they even not vibrate. That's why this is an option, or to put, like on the low ZTB XL, two shorter rear shaft and two bearing and two output drive shaft in the center to have less stress on this long rear dog bone or drive shaft. And so what the heck is under the car, under that body, sorry, not under the car, under that hood, is an Hobao Hyper GT. We're gonna call it T. GTT, we have the GTS, the short, we have the GTB 370, the other is 325, 330, and this is a GTT with 420 wheelbase. Yes, I have done it because I want to use my cool corvette body from property in Russia. I don't want such a heavy stuff. I have an Arrma Limitless, the video will come, no fear. I'm gonna drive this thing, but I don't like the fact this Infraction Limitless are really heavy cars. 6.5 kilogram, it's really heavy. The chassis plate is enormous. We don't need some enormous chassis plate. Okay, we have diffuser, we have a front fender, we have ground effect and all stuff, but for drive normally car, for fun with 100 and 120 kilometers an hour, you don't need that. We drive that speed a long time ago with on 1/8 scale on-road or GT or rally game. Here in Europe we have rally game. Rally game are cars. The difference between GT and rally game for us is relatively clear. A GT is a real on-road car with hard suspension and low on the ground. A rally car is higher, can go to gravel, even a little bit of grass and so. And we use here to drive rally style because we drive on parking with a lot of gravel, with not so flat ground, because we have road damage here in France, many. more and more. Yeah. So we drive it a little bit higher and also softer. You see, I have a little bit soft suspension, but this is just because if I go to such a road damage, I just not lose the ground with the tire and keep the road on ground to put the power still on ground. This car weighs 4.5 kilograms with the 6S LiPo in the car. So I have done a really fast and not precise job on the body because I'm gonna drive with. I don't love to make cool bodies if it's just for go bashing on Sunday with my buddies. Because we drive hard, we hit each other, we make crashes, we go outside from the road and overall and all the stuff. So that's why I have an unbreakable body on the top here. And I'm really happy with the end result of this car. I drive it fast, just a little bit, a few minutes before my house. It's handled great. How did I make this? I take an Hobao Hyper GTB, I take an old GTB chassis and just cut the back of the chassis from the old chassis in two. I cut out all that make that you can see from under that the chassis is lengthened with some part more. Here I have two M4. I make the threads in the chassis but use still longer screws and still nice top on the other side. Here I put two M3 threads. These two screws are longer because they hold this chassis, the second chassis and the rear cell, and here I just have the stock screws to hold the rear axle on the chassis. That's all. So from under you don't see anything or not so much because I use here a little RPM part, skid plate. You just see here that we have a difference, that this part is too much here. But I don't want to cut out this chassis. This is a 7075 T6 optional chassis, so I don't want to hurt it to cut in or to make threads in. I let it original so I can anytime just unscrew 10 screw in the back and shorten my chassis if I have a shorter secret. How I say, I just take the grinder, the chassis, and go this like. I don't use a millimeter, I don't that goes 5 minutes, guys. 5 minutes later the chassis was cut apart, was bolted on there, and I bolt all my stuff back to the chassis. That's it. I use an EMTA center dog bone and it just perfectly fit with the length. I had already the alloy stiffener. You don't need it because this is how I say 7075. This also, and this all is bolted together with some few screws. We tested, we have no movement here in the back. The car goes really straight like it goes before I do that. That means I'm straight in the hole. Yeah. And all I have to say is I'm excited to go to drive this weekend because I had no more on-road car. Yes, I have sailed my Street Max, I have sailed my FG truck here. This truck was in 18S LiPo. I had a plan to put it in 28S. Yes, 110 volt to make a little drag race with. But finally, I'm not expected the tires to hold on that power. So I will go to a stock FG chassis on road with the small tires, because the small tires will surely better handle that. But in between I have no more road car, so I had this project since months in the box here. I had no time, and suddenly I want to do that because I love muscle car bodies, but we have not enough. We have not enough, especially not in 1/7 scale. That's why I do that. And in between, Arrma comes out with the Felony. It's I'm gonna get one. That's clear. But first, we're gonna drive that one. This car is 2 kilograms lighter than the Arrma. Has the same power inside. I already had made GTB Hobao with 8S system in. the car can take it, so if I need I can go to it, but with that weight I don't need that. I will be happy. So it's lighter than a truggy, and it's the same combo than we have in the truggy. We have 5.5, 6 kilogram on our monster trucks. This is just 4.5 with the same power, so it will be enough to have fun on the weekend with my buddies. Tell me what you think about it. You can tell it's really shitty. You can tell super good idea, super fast done, super easy work, and of course, no fear, we're gonna make this really clean. I'm gonna give this chassis to a friend of mine who makes carbon plates, and he will make me this whole chassis with a carbon plate, or we just keep the front chassis and just make this longer part here with 3-plate carbon. Maybe I'm gonna put a carbon plate upper here, a small carbon plate here, and a third carbon plate under there to make also a skid plate at the same time, and bolt all 6 screws together here, so all will hold on fine together. But we will see that on the road. I don't expect it to lose the back of the car, but who knows what will happen. Bye guys.